All right, so this is the first keyword research method. I'm sure some of you are familiar with it. Maybe you're not. It's Google AdWords. Now, even if you're not running any ads on AdWords, it's still an absolutely amazing tool for researching keywords. So the number one reason being that they have the longest history, the biggest search engine, obviously, so they have access to the most traffic data, and it's really easy to use. So I've heard a lot of people talk about, I don't know why, but people complain that you can't just access the data for free anymore, but who cares? Like, you can just start an AdWords account and you literally don't even have to spend a single dime on ads, and you get an account that gets access to this. So I guess that's a huge barrier for some people, but just don't be like that. Just start an AdWords account. If you want to, you can just start a generic business advice account or something. Just, if you, obviously, if you're watching this, you're a marketer of some sort. So just say like, something about internet marketing or business marketing, and then start an account. And when you start an account, they do make you like create an actual ad that you're supposed to run. But you can just create an account, create an ad that's really generic, whatever. Send it to your homepage; they don't mind, and it doesn't even matter. I don't think it matters if the ad gets approved or anything. So, anyways, I've just heard a lot of people on the internet talk about how it's like hard or difficult to get access to the AdWords keyword planner now, but it's really not. So, just don't buy into that. Start an account. Create an ad, even if you never plan on running it. As soon as you get into this area where you can see all the ads and stuff, it'll say like, your ad is in review or whatever, the first one that they force you to create. Just pause it and don't ever spend any money. You'll have to put in like a credit card and stuff, to start the account. But anyways, that's how you get access. You just have to start it. Just have an AdWords account. Even if you're not going to use AdWords for ads, that's fine. Okay, next step is click on Tools, and then go to Keyword Planner. When you do that, you're going to show up on this page. And this is where we can do all of our keyword research. So let's just use that example first. Let's see what's going on in the digital marketing space. So you just type in the keywords that you're thinking about, and it will give you a whole bunch of different ideas about other keywords that you might not have thought about. It'll give you some really good ideas for long tail keywords or exact match keywords that you might want to put into your campaigns. You can actually build ad groups and stuff from here if you are using AdWords. But if you're using Bing, then obviously you'll just be using this for information. And the same people are searching for the same keywords on Bing and AdWords. So any amount of information you get here is going to apply to Bing. It's just going to be at a smaller scale. So Bing is basically, the same thing. They have access to the same type of people. They just have access to less of them. So any data that you get from AdWords here is still going to apply to Bing. They just have more data and more volume. So let's type this in. Click Get Ideas. Okay. So it's saying that the general term, this would be like a broad match term that we talked about earlier. So this is just kind of the general, this could be like online marketing, digital sales marketing, online, business marketing, whatever. Like anything that's generally related to this. You can see monthly search volume. So it looks like this general broad match term gets about 250 to 300,000 searches a month. And there's two different, you can see a lot of things in this actually. One, you can look for trends. So let's look at a seasonal trend, for example. Let's go with beach towels. That should be seasonal. That's not as clear as I thought, but you can still see an obvious trend here, right? It peaks in July because that's when people are going to the beach. So it's pretty low in February. Not a lot of people are thinking about beach towels. It starts to increase a bit in March and April, May, June, July, and then it dips again in the fall and kind of rounds off. Maybe here's like Christmas gifts or something. You can start finding some pretty interesting things here. So yeah, kids beach towels. So you can see search volumes for all of these different things. Look at this one. Kids beach towels barely gets searched for in January, 2,900, and then climbs to 4,400, and then 8,000, 8,000, 8,000, and it peaks. It peaks in June with 9,900, 8,000, and dips in September and October. So these are it's just really, important and interesting to research your niche in general. This is what people are doing in your niche. This is how they behave. So the monthly trends is definitely one thing you want to keep track of. There's a lot of options over here as well. If you're targeting a specific state or city, you can put it in here. If you're going for Chicago, or a specific type, if you're a local business, then you can just look in Chicago for how many people search for these things. So now that might still be the overall one, but now all these numbers have dropped a lot. Beach towels gets searched 480 times on average in Chicago. I think these are still for the bigger trend. I'm not sure. So yeah, you can do other countries and all different languages. You can see what people are searching for. Google and search partners. That's not too relevant to what we're doing by using Bing. Can do a bit of comparison data. You can only look for keywords that get a certain amount of searches. You can turn on or off adult. Specific keywords to include. Okay, so one big feature to use is the ad group ideas. So AdWords will kind of give you an idea as to how you should group different AdWords based on how relevant they are to each other. So it takes the term beach towel and it separates it into all of these things that are similar to beach towels, but each of these is more relevant. This is a group of things that are more relevant to each other. You can see this follows the same trend of peaking in summer. So that once you click on an ad group, and this is a pretty good idea generally to follow for your ad groups, just remember that as we talked about in the ad group videos, that you don't want to just add all of these as broad match terms. You want to maybe add one broad match term like this, and then like the highest searched one, and then all the rest of them, you would want to add one version of it as, well, it depends on your budget. If you want to be really, really specific and most conservative with your budget, then only add these as exact match phrases or exact match keywords, excuse me. So if you're going to be really conservative with your budget, take these keywords, if they seem relevant to you, look through them, and each of these you could target specifically with an exact match keyword. This one gets 40 searches a month on average, but if you're the only person bidding on that exact match keyword, round towel shop, which I don't know, round pizza beach towel. Okay, so that's like a very specific thing. If you sell round pizza beach towels, it would really be worth your while to target this exact match keyword. And, it gets 40 searches a month on average, 90 in April. So anyway, so that if that's your business, round pizza beach towel, and you sell that specific item, then you're going to want to be in the running for these 40 searches, and those are going to be really, really highly qualified. Those 40 people know exactly what they're looking for, and you're going to be one of the results that they get. And again, anything that's on AdWords, the same thing is on Bing. So there are people searching for all the exact same things on Bing. It's just going to be a smaller amount. So maybe it's still the same. Maybe about 40 people a month search for this on Bing as well. Or maybe it's only 10. It just depends on, who's on Bing, what they're interested in, et cetera. It's a complicated thing. But this is a great source of keywords to add to your campaigns and to your ad groups. And the grouping of these as an ad group is pretty good. Now, we haven't talked about negative keywords yet, but if you sell pizza beach towels, but you don't sell watermelon round towels, then you could add watermelon as a negative keyword. Or you could add a watermelon towel to your store. So that's what the ad group suggestions are. And some of them are going to be more or less relevant to what you're doing. Personalized towels, that might get searched for a lot, but that's not what you do. So you could just ignore this one, Turkish towels, interesting. Big towels, buy towels. And some of these are going to be really broad, big towels is really broad. So if you take this this ad group, for example, they have this planner thing over here. Number one, you can download it into like an Excel sheet, which is useful, or you can add them all to this planner. And this is assuming that you're going to be using these in AdWords, of course, but you don't have to. So here's a cool thing you can do with this. You have this keyword list now, and you could simply copy it to your clipboard, and now they give you all these keyword lists. And I mentioned I'm going to make a separate video about this, but I'll show you an example of how to, in a couple seconds, take all of these keywords, add them to your ad group, but keep the control. So you would copy all those AdWords, or there's a lot of very similar words being thrown around here. You'd copy all those keywords to this tool called Keyword Mixer. It's at keywordmixer.com. And you would just go quotes and brackets. So if you remember what we talked about, that's going to give you, and then click combine. And hope that your internet works. So now it's, okay, so this is the plan if you're going to be a little less conservative, but still conservative. You're going to get all of them as phrase matches. So now if anybody searches for round beach towel, where can I buy, this will show. Any phrase that contains these things. And then it's also going to spit out the exact match keywords. So these will only show when people search for exactly what's in these brackets. So this is usually the best way to add a whole bunch of keywords at once. Now, if you're going super conservative with your budget and you only want to target the most qualified people, just uncheck quotes and click combine. And now you only have the exact match phrases. So you'd copy these, and then you would paste them into the Bing Ads ad group that you want to use. So that's a really useful tool. You can also download them if you want to manage all of that in a spreadsheet or something. The other really good feature here is keyword ideas. And instead of grouping them all into different relevant ad groups, AdWords will just show you different keywords that are related to this, and you can sort them by their average monthly searches. So as you might guess, the general term towel, which is probably not a good one to bid on because you'd only be competing with like the biggest, merchandisers in the world, like Walmart and Amazon and stuff. Bath towels, these are all like really broad terms. But Turkish towels, now that's probably a little bit more niched. But anyways, you can see the more broad terms, of course, get the most searches. And you can go much further down. And now you're getting into something. You could have an entire business based off of personalized beach towels. And here's all your data, and you can see what people search for, what they're interested in. I've had a lot of ideas, and then I go to the old keyword planner, and I find out nobody actually searches for that. Nobody wants it. So this is a good way to validate ideas for a product or for a campaign or anything. One last thing we'll talk about with AdWords keyword tool is this competition stuff and suggested bid. Now, basically, don't worry about this. A lot of people look at this and they go, "Oh, that's a really high competition. I'll never be able to get ads shown." And obviously, we're not talking about running in AdWords, but the same principle applies. The competition says high. It doesn't matter. I mean, the way to think about this is basically there's like millions and millions of people searching. AdWords and Bing have access to millions and millions and billions of impressions of ads. So they're telling you that over all of their entire network, as a general aggregate, this is a fairly high competition or low competition or whatever keyword. These are all saying they're high. So it probably just means that like big brands, places are bidding on them. As you go lower, though, it should have some lower. That it has nothing for that one. I guess not. But just don't worry about this. The competition, who cares? It's not who cares. It's just that it's not that relevant because you're not always going to be, well, we'll talk about bidding in a later section, but you're not always trying to get the top spot because it's not always even the best for you. Those people don't always convert. Bing will, probably call you and tell you that they do, but in my experience, they don't always convert better. So anyways, the competition doesn't matter. The suggested bid kind of matters. So I would say that this is another thing that freaks people out. AdWords estimates for suggested bids are way higher than what is actually possible. So if I saw a suggested bid for $1.31, I'm not gonna pay that. That's insane. Unless these Turkish towels convert like crazy for me, make me. It depends on your niche, I guess. But if this number freaks you out, don't worry about it, because you don't need to get all of the top impressions. And the way that the auction works, there's just so many people bidding. And also something that was explained to me by, I think, Brad Geddes, who's an amazing teacher of AdWords and PPC in general. He just explained that the way the auction works, Google doesn't want anybody to monopolize their traffic. They want to let other people in because they don't want the clicks to always go to the highest bidder. It might seem like that, but it's not like a ruthless auction. They actually want more competition. They want people bidding. They want the little guys to be able to compete. So I know we're talking about AdWords here, but Bing is the exact same thing. Bing is basically AdWords' little brother that's trying to be like AdWords all the time. So they're just trailing behind. Whatever AdWords does, Bing will do a few months later, as far as features and stuff, pretty much. They do have different strengths and weaknesses, and we'll talk about that more. But anyways, don't be intimidated by this. If it's suggesting a bid of $1, that's for being in the top position always, and you don't need to do that. You can bid lower and show up in good positions, get plenty of clicks that are more likely to be profitable, and you're not competing with the biggest things in the world, and you'll just get plenty of traffic. So don't worry. If it's $1, you could probably get clicks for like 50 cents to even less, on Bing especially. It might be 50 cents, 30 cents, 20 cents. They're all possible, and you won't know until you test them. So don't worry about that one. Now let me show you, though. I have worked with a client in the rehab industry, and those numbers, those will freak you out. Let's look at some of those. Yeah. Okay. So For this exact match term or this long tail keyword, drug abuse treatment programs, there's only 40 searches a month. But the average client is worth tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars to a rehab. So this suggested bid is $212. So they literally, in some industries, and if you are in one of these industries, you know why it's so valuable, and you know what you're up against here. I've never researched this one, but I know lawyers also have very competitive keywords. Yeah, so these are real. It's funny because see, competition. It's saying it's medium competition. This thing basically means nothing for us, for our purposes. Medium competition, but the suggested bid is $39. That means you're not going to squeak through any like 50-cent clicks. The minimum is probably going to be like $10 to $20 per click. So that's just an example of, suggested bids. They are kind of accurate, but it's all based on averages. You have to remember this is being averaged over a huge network. So if the average they're suggesting is $45, that just means it's much higher than the average they were suggesting for beach towels. The average they were suggesting for beach towels was $1. So you could probably get clicks for, 20 to 60 cents, especially on Bing, maybe even cheaper occasionally. The more you bid, the more clicks you get, but you always have to check your ROI, etc. Things we'll talk about later. But this is definitely going to be more expensive. The same equivalent, the lowest bids are going to be, $20 or $10 or $15 or something. Even if you're squeaking in and pulling out the occasional impression from the big guys, they're still going to be very expensive. But, your product is worth a lot more than beach towels too. So might be worth it. Same strategies apply to big business or big clicks and low clicks. But this is how to use the Adwords keyword tool for Bing. You can use it to collect good keywords because Google has more data than Bing does. And the same people search for the same stuff on both. So even if Bing doesn't list it in their keyword tool, people could be searching for it on Bing, and Google knows that. They have more data. So good place to grab keywords for sure. Good place to get ideas for actual ad groups. That's really good. Like, how should I group my terms, my keywords together so that they're relevant and will get good quality scores and click through, etc. Good place for that. Really good place to watch trends, especially for seasonal products, and also to kind of get a general idea of pricing of what you're going to be paying. $1.25, I'd guess you can probably get clicks even on AdWords for anywhere from 30 to 70. And, close. The closer you get to $1, the more clicks you get, but it doesn't mean they're going to be more profitable. So this is not an exact term. This is just kind of an averaged estimate and suggestion, and they suggest high because they want people to spend more money. So that is how the Google AdWords keyword planner works. I hope it was informative, and it's one of the best places to get started with doing keyword research.